about something that my mom used to make a long time ago, which is homemade granola. Now this was a little bit inspired by Aunt Janice, which I just love. She's awesome. She loved our smoothie recipe. However, she really prefers to chew her breakfast, which was our little bit of feedback. So for Aunt Janice, we're going to do our granola. Now, granola for Aunt Janice has to be gluten-free. And you would assume that most granola should be gluten-free. The one thing you have to be concerned about to stay gluten-free in your preparation is to make sure that your oats especially are not cross-contaminated. And if it doesn't say so on the package that you're buying the oats, where it actually says gluten-free, which there wasn't any that I could find, contact the manufacturer and ask them if those oats are particularly gluten-free, or talk to the supermarket. Now these oats are gluten-free. There's no cross-contamination, which means that they were not processed on the same machines that wheat is processed, so I don't have to worry about that. So what we're going to do is assemble this up. Got my bowl here, and I have about 3.5 cups of a whole grain oat. I'm going to toss that in there. And 1 cup of chopped walnuts. Now everything I'm putting in here is raw, unsalted, unflavored, anything. It's just a raw ingredient, because you're going to put this in the oven and let it toast on its own, and it's going to come out with this amazing flavor. So we have a cup of chopped walnuts right in there. It's going to go. I have a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds. And these are full of flavor, and it really is going to make it very moist. And this is something else that is really delicious, and most of the time you hear of this being in pill form. It's flaxseed. Now flaxseed has a little bit of the same texture as sunflower seeds, but it has a ton of nutrition. So since we're going to get as much out of this ingredient and as much out of this dish as we can, 1/4 cup of flaxseed is going to go right in there. And when this comes all together, you won't even know it's there. Now, I have 2 tablespoons of honey, and we're just going to put that in here. It's just going to sweeten it slightly. Gotta have a little bit of sweet. That is perfect. Get every little bit out. And for it to toast up really nicely, I'm using a tablespoon of a really light vegetable oil. You can see that it's very light. There's no color to it at all. Now you can use peanut oil, you can use safflower oil, you can use anything that you have. I just would not use olive oil. Anything like that's going to have a little bit more flavor. You want something that's very light. It's not going to take away from your flavor here. Now your honey is going to bunch up. So what we're going to do is mix this up. And it just take a second just to make sure that it all gets incorporated. We want the honey and the oil to get completely mixed up. Now your honey is going to ball up like this. And when you get in there, just make sure that you mash it up so you don't have any of these big balls. That way everything is really nicely coated. We're not worried about one part having flavor and one part being too sweet and one part not being too sweet. And I have to say that we've already made this and sent Aunt Janice a little sample to see how she liked it. And I was really happy that she got back to us with a full thumbs up. So we're going to have to make sure that Aunt Janice gets a little bit more. So we may have to send her a little care package from this little batch that we're making. Okay, so this is mixed up pretty good. You can see it's mixed in there. Everything's fairly well coated. Nothing's standing out. If you had glumps of any one thing, you would want to mix that still. But that's really good. Okay, so I'm going to rinse off my hands. We're going to put this on a cookie sheet. So we got this really well mixed. I have my oven preheated to 250 degrees. And this is going to slowly roast for about 35 to 45 minutes. And because my oven is a little bit not always dependable, we're going to check it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But this is also something that you have to stir every 10 minutes. So we're going to get this on a nice sized cookie sheet. Just spread it out. I know I'm blocking your view there, but I can assure you I ain't throwing any of this food away. Alright, so we got that all on the cookie sheet. Into the sink. Let's spread that out. Alright, now this is going to go in a 250-degree oven, and I want to stir it every 10 minutes. So we'll see you back in 10 minutes, and I'll show you what we're doing. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. So we're going to pull it out and give it a toss. You can already smell it starting to toast. Close my oven so I don't let all the heat out. Spatula. Now all I'm going to do is just toss it around. Toss it around. Just mixing it up. Mixing it up here. Mixing it up here, boss. Moving it around. Okay, now that we have that, give it a little shake. We're going to put it back in the oven, and we're going to do that every 10 minutes for the next 25 to 35 minutes. And then we'll see you back here when it's done. Alright, the granola has been in the oven now for 45 minutes. I'm not real sure if it was my oven or what. I don't have an external temperature, and it's not always reliable. We did give it a toss and a stir every 10 minutes to make sure that it didn't stick, and it's really good and toasted. So we're pulling it out right now. And you can smell the granola. Alright. I'm going to put it right here. Don't burn that. You can see how brown this is. Okay. Now when you first pull this out of the oven, it still seems like it's a little soft. It's not quite as crunchy as you want to expect it to be. You're expecting granola to have a crunch, and this is still a little soft. However, as it cools, this will get nice and crunchy and toasted, and it's going to be delicious. So we have it one more toss. We're going to let this cool. And it'll be ready to serve. This look amazing. And I'm not all for pretty. I really don't care what it looks like as long as I made it myself and it's really healthy. However, I gotta say, it looks pretty cool. But it's time to taste it. The granola's gotten nice and crunchy. Got some fresh strawberries there. Some Greek yogurt, because that's the only kind of yogurt. Oh wow. That is some kind of good. You are going to love this. No matter what kind of berry, it is absolutely delicious. You can taste the nuts and the almonds. The yogurt is so creamy. This is, I don't know if Aunt Janice is going to get any of this. We'll have to see. We'll see you in the kitchen.